We weren't even expecting to actually release a song with A.R. Rahman sir.
I heard and watched Linkin Park.
Your advice is to not take other people's advice.
Yes, absolutely. सो रहा है आसमां, भूल जा तू ना चले, दिल से जरा मुस्कुरा, जी ले प्यार से, कितना सुहाना है ये सामा सामा. I have a Mac Mini, okay? I have a Focusrite 6i6. I used to have this really nice sound card called a Steinberg. I don't have that anymore. I mean, I have it. It's not compatible with this anymore. Very sad about that. I have an MPK Mini, which is like my little MIDI keyboard. I have these really nice DT770s Pros, the headphones, and the HS5 Yamahas, which I am absolutely in love with and I swear by. It's a very simple studio setup. Actually, I also have this really nice Sennheiser mic. It's called an MK4. Really nice condenser mic. My homie Savera asked me to pick that up. Thank you for that, bro. Really good suggestion. It's a really simple setup and it is conducive to being able to write and record really, really quickly, because that's what I end up doing here for myself and other artists a lot. We end up writing material and recording the bare bones idea of it the same day sometimes. So that's what this particular studio is conducive for. Yeah.
I think they all go hand in hand. Like, I would first write a song, then I would sing the song, then I would want to do the music video, and it's likely that I would act in the video and then also dance. So it's always been hand in hand, and it's always been the dream to do all of them together. I write a lot of songs with the idea that I want to dance in this song, so it's got to be like pumpy. Like, maybe I want to do like a hip-hop choreography in this kind of song, so I'll make sure that the beats are, you know, kind of hip-hop, trap-ish. Or if I'm in a very like sexy, jazzy space of mind, then I'll make the song in that kind of way. So it totally influences each other.
So that's a really good question. So I grew up in Ahmedabad in a family that is very liberal, and a lot of them were into music, but nobody really played music. So my neighbors at the time were very affluent people. They came from a very interesting family, actually, a very big business family in Ahmedabad. And they had this massive sound system, and the older son used to listen to this band called Linkin Park. And before I ever saw music videos or anything like that, on their massive screen, massive sound system, I heard and watched Linkin Park music videos. And my mind instantly caught the drummer. And I went home that day to my lawyer dad and I said, I want to learn the drums. He was horrified. He was like, oh my God. In fact, he was like, oh my God, there's going to be a drum. I was like, I want a drum kit. I want to learn the drums. I want a drum kit at home. And you know what? My parents they're very supportive. So my folks figured out a really good place nearby to, it was not really a class. It was just a studio. It was called Harmony Studio, actually, with a room with a drum kit. So I would just go there every week, twice a week, and I would just sit and play the drums. And I joined this wonderful school in Ahmedabad called Mahatma Gandhi International, the very first international school, run by two fantastic people, Anju and Pascal, who really cultivated these skills. Like Savera and Kabir, who I was talking about earlier, we all met there. Lotika, Savera, Kabir, all of us went to this place and we started learning music, and we were in our first band together. The band started in the lab. That's why it was called Experiment 7. After school, I wanted to study music. Again, my parents were extremely supportive. They sent me to KM Conservatory, which is Rahman School in Kodambakam, Chennai, represent. Okay, so I went, I did a whole year there. That was to do with percussion. a lot to do with, say, music production, which I was not interested in the time. I really wasn't, you know. And then I went to this other place called Swarnabhumi Academy of Music, which was downright the best place to learn jazz, R&B, and I had some amazing teachers. So I learned, I was very fortunate to learn in some very prestigious, nice places. And after that, I moved to Bombay. We formed this band called the Family Cheese. Homie Lala, thank you very much. Okay, and then I ended up playing my first few Bollywood gigs, and that just opened the doors to that possibility. And I realized that I was very influenced by music with, you know, both the Indian and say English music. So I've ended up playing with everyone from like Arijit Singh to Veer Das to Manasi Scott to Lisa Mishra. I've been playing as a session drummer for so many years that I have just come across all the majors to every independent artist to, like, I've shared stages with someone like say Pratik Kuhad when people really didn't know who he was. Like, I still remember that the little flea when me and my friends were watching him play, and we were like, wow, he is a fantastic vocalist. And then 2 years later, he just kind of exploded. So I've just been around the music fraternity for so many years that I've come to know a lot about the business. I've come to meet a lot of these people, and I really cherish the relationships that I have with all of them.
So I'm a part of a pop duo called Symmetry, and we have been writing and releasing songs for a few years now. And it's actually with my sister Simran, and you know, we've grown up singing together, and also we come from a musical family. Our parents are both musicians, and my grandfather was a lyricist as well, Rajinder Krishan. He's written songs like Pal Pal Dil Ke Paas and Ina Meena Dika, songs that we perform in our live sets even now and are just like legendary. So yeah, having all this musical background and reality shows I never really was inclined towards. So my dad actually sent me the link for this competition, Nexa Music Lab, which was judged by A.R. Rahman sir and Clinton Serejo sir. And at first I was like, it's a competition, it's a reality show, I don't really want to be a part of it, and I get all nervous and weird with it. So, but he was just like, no, you should like take part and just register and see what happens. So that's what we did, and we ended up first being shortlisted in the top 24, and then we ended up winning the competition, which was really cool because we got to release our own music video, a song called Different Kind of Love, and the thing that we weren't even expecting, to actually release a song with A.R. Rahman sir. And it was just such a wonderful, wonderful experience. He called us over to Chennai to his YM studios, where he was having a launch for his, it was basically a celebration for an upcoming movie of his, where all the cast and crew were invited, and he also got us to do like a small performance. So it was really, really special. He's such a down-to-earth person. Like, he was sitting with us at our table telling us about Goli Soda and all. And it was just such a wonderful, wonderful experience. He's like called us after that as well to sing in some songs and jingles. One that just released and one that is coming up, which I'm really excited about. So yeah. So when it comes to film songs, playback songs, even TV commercial jingles, every song is very different and set to a certain scene. So every scene has its own rhythm, energy, and basically the expression of the actors that you need to perfectly portray in your singing. So that's something that you really have to keep in mind. And I really enjoy getting into those different characters because every song is so different. Sometimes it's like a sad song and you have to sound very sad, or if it's like a super happy dancey sequence, then you gotta get into that character. So it's a lot of fun. I get to be a different person every time. But when it comes to my independent music, I know that I need to bring myself forward in this song, and I need the listener to know who I am. So that's just something I think about while recording.
I think what she said is absolutely right. Musicians and producers, when they work together, the producer has a good idea of what they're trying to portray, and the scene kind of dictates what the feel should be. And the human voice is a really funny thing. You can really exaggerate a particular emotion by just thinking and adding that feel to your voice. And this is something I've learned by, so I've done a lot of vocals for ads as well, and I realized early on that just by singing something differently, or smiling and singing it, or really thinking about some not so fun time and singing it, you can bring that idea really home by fitting into, like she said, the character in that moment. So I feel like during those collaborative processes, communication becomes really important. Yeah. So YodaDrunk is really interesting. Within music, I've always had a split personality, wherein I'm a drummer, I'm a vocalist, and I'm a songwriter. I wanted a project that puts all those three things together, and something where I could just share that with just me and one other person on stage. It also deals with a very specific type of music, which is drum and bass, hip hop, rap, and a bit of R&B, which is very different from the genres I generally deal with. And that's a project that's very, very close to me. In fact, Harsh Vardhan and Lotika Jha, shout outs to both of them, have been very instrumental in me being able to put that project out well. Yeah.
They're both actually quite different. Like when it comes to animated movies, you have to, like, there's a lot required with your range and your dynamics, whereas when it comes to TV commercials, you have to be like selling the product all the time, so it's got to be upbeat and chirpy. So that's generally the kind of vibe with jingles, but with animated films it's a lot more dynamic. There's a lot of range that you have to show, and I get to try out a lot of different things. With TV commercials, I get to experiment with my tone a lot, because sometimes they're like, nahi, is gaane ke liye you need a husky tone. So I go softer and try to make my voice more airy. It's a lot harder to sing in that husky, whispery tone, and it's also not that great for your vocals in the long run. But yeah, it's very, very different. Like usually the general tone is that you need to sell this product. So the tone has got to be in a very certain way, and it's got to be very presentable, and yeah. The main thing is always to just keep at it, keep practicing every day for however long is possible, and keep putting your work out, keep networking. That really helps you to get more work.
I feel like we do a very different thing from most people, and please don't take their advice on what to do with your music. They have no idea what they're talking about. Thank you.
Your advice is to not take other people's advice.
Yes, absolutely. They will not know what you're going through. You do a very different thing. Keep going.
Listen to your heart, bro.
Yep. Maan Ja Zara. In fact, I delve into some scores now and then. I feel like I'm more of a musician. I love making songs. But I have done a bunch of scores and I actually really enjoy it. And I would love to do scores, songs for major films. And I feel like whatever that discrepancy was between what was acceptable and what is now acceptable, it's not what it used to be. I feel like our audiences they're just very intelligent. They know what they like, and it's not what it used to be. And once again, like what Radio City does, they're taking independent artists and pushing them up front. I'm glad, because more and more people doing that, more and more people becoming aware of this, and that boundary won't be there at all. So, for example, this is the first song I've ever done in Hindi. I've put it out, and the kind of response I'm getting is unbelievable. The funny thing is, the genre that the song is in is what I've done for 10 straight years. It just happens to be in a different language, which is shocking me, to be honest, you know. I think it's absolutely exploding. I feel like Indian independent artists are going to be huge in even the next 3, 4, 5 years. We are going to see them move into the mainstream. They are going to have the largest chunk. This might just be my perspective, but Bollywood music, and I love Bollywood music, is not taking up that chunk of the market that it used to take up. Our audiences are really intelligent, and now because of the internet, they are aware of a lot more music than they used to be, and they want to hear that music, that level of production, and those songwriting abilities play out in our language. And I feel like indie artists are going to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of independent artists are already having their songs in like major films and like TV shows, so it's really cool. It's really exploding right now.
सो रहा है आसमां, भूल जा तू ना चले, दिल से जरा मुस्कुरा, जी ले प्यार से, कितना सुहाना है ये सामा सामा, बारिश की बूंदें भी बुला रही है तुम्हें, कितना रुहाना है ये जहां जहां, नई सहर जो आई, मान जा जरा.
आंधियों के सामने शर्म से मैं ना खिली, और नहीं ये इंतजार,
मिल गई हंसी,
लगने लगा है मन, जगने जगी हूँ मैं, खो गया है आसमां, अब जी रही हूँ मैं, कितना
सुहाना है ये सामा सामा,
बारिश की
बूंदें भी बुला रही है तुम्हें, कितना रुहाना है ये जहां जहां, नई सहर जो आई, मान जा जरा.